Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about deadlifts. I wanted to talk to you about form. Once we get our form down, that means that we'll have good technique. So as far as the form goes, what you want to make sure that you do is keep your back at a 45-degree angle. So when you're doing deadlifts, you want to have your back at about right here, and then you're good to go. When you're doing deadlifts, the biggest thing that you want to remember is, number one, is going to be sitting in your seat, and then two, once you hit your knees, drive with your hips. If at any time you feel like your back is being compromised or you're going into flexion or extension, then you want to make sure that you go ahead and you drop the weight. I always recommend PPE, so wrist straps and a belt. Working on grip strength is something else that we can talk about later if it's something that you guys are interested in hearing about. But as for right now, if you're going to be doing some serious lifts or you're trying to do your 1 rep max, I can definitely say that a belt and wrist straps are going to be beneficial to succeeding in that lift. So really gauging where you're at is going to be pretty important too. So you want to make sure that when you do these deadlifts, you have proper form. One of the biggest things is foot placement. Something like this. I want my toes at both of the lines on each side. They're going to be about shoulder width apart, and at that shoulder width, they're going to be slightly under the bar, but far enough to where I can actually just see my toes. When I can just see my toes, then I know that that is proper foot placement, because I'm going to be about shoulder width apart. In between the checkered edge and the smooth edge is usually about an average person's shoulder width. So from that point in time, when I'm here, I'm getting ready to complete the lift. Probably one of the biggest points that I want to hit on One of the biggest points that I want to hit on when we're doing this lift is that when you make sure that you get your foot placement, that your arms are going to be in the under-over grip. That grip is going to be the proper grip for a conventional deadlift. So when I have my feet placed properly, I want to make sure that my grip is going to be just, not shoulder width, but just outside shoulder width. I would say probably about an inch further than you normally would. So when you're here, you want to go ahead and get your under-over grip, and then from this position, I'm going to sit in my seat. I'm going to drive with my quads, my hammies, my calves, all while pulling with my arms, my back, my traps. I'm going to be engaging my shoulders. This compound lift is going to be engaging almost all the major and some minor muscle groups. So it's great for building muscle all around. So I'm basically going to go into this lift just like this, sitting in my seat, and then making sure that I drive up. When I hit my knees, then I'm going to thrust with my hips, come forward. At that point where I'm at my knees, it's going to be crucial that I drive with my hips forward. I'm not going to lock out. I'm not going to worry about squeezing my glutes. That's going to put me into extension, and I don't want to do that with my spine. At this point in time, when I want to go back down, I want to control the weight because the eccentric is just as important as the concentric. So I want to come back down. When I get to my knees again, that's when I'm going to go ahead and start sitting in my seat. Boom, deadlift, just like that. That is the proper form. So just for a quick recap on deadlifts, you want to make sure that you have the under-over grip that is slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You want to make sure that your legs are shoulder width apart. And you want to make sure that when you go ahead and you approach the bar, that your toes are just peeking out from that bar, that you're sitting in your seat almost as if you were in a 90-degree squat angle. Your knees are not going to be over your toes. You're going to be able to see your toes in that position. And that when you're in that 45-degree position and you start coming up and you start driving with your quads, your hammies, your glutes, all that, and you start pulling, that when you get to the threshold, you get to your kneecaps, that you start then driving with your hips up. That you don't lock out. I know people use that term a lot, but it's actually really bad for you. Don't lock out, just stand straight up. You want to make sure that you control the weight the whole time. The eccentric is just as important as the concentric, so control the weight while you're going down. Touch the ground and go. one smooth motion, touch the ground and go. You want to make sure that some of your reps, you're doing a 2-second pause, maybe about an inch above the ground. If you'd like, it'll help build core strength. When you're doing this also, make sure that you're engaging your core at all times. Your back is only as strong as your core, and your core is only as strong as your back. So if you don't have a strong core, you're not going to have a strong back. If you don't have a strong back, you're not going to have a strong core. So engaging both muscles in this workout is going to be crucial to making sure that you can increase your PR in this lift. If you have any questions, let me know, and have fun deadlifting.